What is there to see at museums in Fairbanks? Let me tell you. This video is available in English and Chinese. The link to the Chinese version is below. Today's breakfast was French toast. It started snowing. The temperature ranged from 5 degrees to 17 degrees. Nice and warm. Perfect weather for visiting indoor museums. There are two main places in Fairbanks that showcase local culture and heritage. The Maurice Thompson Cultural and Visitors Center and the University of Alaska Fairbanks Museum of the North. The Maurice Thompson Center is very different from visitor centers in other cities. In addition to providing tourist information, it also offers rich cultural and historical displays about the local area. I really liked this visitor center because the exhibits were simple, engaging, and easy to understand. Plus, the space wasn't too big. For example, in the animal section, I learned that the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for spatial memory, in chickadees grows 30% larger every fall to help them remember where they stored food. In winter, when there's less to remember, their brains shrink back to normal size. And the snowshoe hare. Its long ears help regulate body temperature. Its fur is brown in the summer and white in the winter, helping it evade predators. Its large, fluffy hind legs not only allow it to walk on snow, but also to leap up to 3 meters high. The University of Alaska Fairbanks is deeply involved in rocket research and has the only university-operated rocket range in the world. In the history section, I learned that Fairbanks got its start as a gold mining town. Gold is still mined today, though the scale isn't as large as in the early 1900s. Oil is Alaska's most important natural resource. It's created job opportunities, allowed the state to go without income or sales tax, and even provide a yearly dividend to every Alaskan. But oil wasn't easy to come by. It took 8 years and 11 failed wells before oil was finally discovered. In 1968, two oil companies struck North America's largest oil field in Prudhoe Bay. Here is a display showing the development of Alaska's oil industry. In 1973, Arab nations cut oil supplies to the United States, which led America to rely more on Alaska's oil. However, since the oil fields were in the north, the oil had to be transported south by truck, train, water, or even dog sled before it could be shipped to the mainland United States. This was time-consuming and expensive, so in 1974, construction began on the Trans-Alaska Pipeline, which was completed in just 3 years in 1977. In 1982, Alaskans received their first oil dividend check, $1,000. Although production has declined over the years, in 2024, every Alaskan still received $1,702. Tempted to move to Alaska yet? Because of the extreme cold, large portions of Alaska's ground are permafrost. But I learned here that this isn't the first time permafrost has melted due to global warming. After the last ice age, around 9,000 years ago, Earth's temperatures were even higher than today, but the warming didn't happen as fast as today, allowing plants and animals to adapt. What stands out most here is the climate. Because Earth's axis is tilted, regions near the Arctic Circle experience unique sunlight patterns. During summer solstice, there's sunlight nearly all day. During equinoxes, there's about 12 hours of light. And during winter solstice, there's almost no daylight. In winter, Fairbanks gets just 3.5 hours of daylight, making its extended twilight especially meaningful. At the equator, twilight lasts about 22 minutes. In Fairbanks, it can last up to an hour. Animals either migrate south, stay underground, or hibernate during winter. In September, Fairbanks loses about 1 hour of daylight per week, and as the nights grow longer, the aurora borealis begins to appear. Auroras form when the sun emits charged particles that reach Earth. These interact with the planet's magnetic field, which funnels some of the particles to the poles. At altitudes above 60 miles, these particles collide with atmospheric atoms and molecules, releasing light. Yellow-green, the most common and brightest aurora color, comes from oxygen atoms. However, at even higher altitudes, oxygen emits red light. Nitrogen molecules produce purplish red light along the lower edges of the aurora. How do you know it's the end of the winter? Well, this answer is interesting. When hundreds of runners try to beat Beethoven by completing the 5K course before the end of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. That's an event held in Fairbanks in every April. Could you do it? Next to the visitor center is an arch built with 100 moose and caribou antlers donated from all over Alaska. It tells the stories of the hunters and the animals. We spent 1.5 hours at the visitor center. Since it was already 2 p.m. and the Museum of the North closes at 5, we skipped lunch. The Museum of the North is an award-winning building. Its flowing curves are inspired by Alaska's natural landscape. Its pearl-white exterior reflects light and seasons beautifully. Large windows offer stunning views of Mount McKinley and Tanana River. Admission is $18. This museum has more exhibits and more detailed explanations, so it's a bit more mentally demanding. But both of us were especially interested in the animals, auroras, and the pipelines. There's a cold room near the entrance. Above the lobby is the skeleton of a bowhead whale. Bowhead whales can grow up to 66 feet long and 100 tons. Its curved skull can break through ice, and its thick blubber allows it to survive in the coldest Arctic waters. It's also the longest living whale, potentially reaching 200 years. Here is an 8 feet 9 tall brown bear. Did you know coastal brown bears are the largest land carnivores? They can grow even larger than polar bears and weigh up to 1,400 pounds. Inland brown bears or grizzlies aren't quite as large, about 6 to 7 feet tall and up to 600 pounds. Brown bears have excellent hearing and smell and can run fast. Never approach one if you see it. These are mammoths and mastodon skeletons. Both were common in Alaska. Mastodons were smaller, about 10 feet tall, with straight tusks. Woolly mammoths were taller, around 13 feet, with curved tusks. Mammoths' teeth shaped like washboard ridges, perfect for chewing grass. Guess how much teeth they had? Only 4! Mastodons have 8 sharp teeth, ideal for eating bark. Moose are also common in Alaska. They can weigh over 1,600 pounds and run fast. Male moose shed their antlers every year, and their size varies with age. Moose gather to mate in September, and afterwards males and females separate again. Alaska's state bird, willow ptarmigans, can change color with the seasons. Salmon are a vital resource here. Alaska has the world's largest population of red salmon. Did you know that a halibut's left eye shifts to the same side as its right eye when it's 6 months old? Back to permafrost. The top layer melts seasonally and supports plant life, but beneath it remains frozen, making it hard for roots to grow. Alaska has a lot of permafrost. Once it melts, problems arise. Buildings can collapse. And organic matter in the soil releases methane and carbon dioxide, worsening global warming.
他吃的人他不会觉得他自己犯了罪啊，他觉得他是在这个领域里面吃的一个东西，那是很正常的，所以动物是不会离开他这个领地的。因此的话呢，你在那个人遇害的地方周围找一个2次的草料，所以的话呢，外野外的食物就是一个适合的。还有一个特别一个非常有意思的。
The pipeline explanations here were impressive. The pipeline is 48 inches wide. Wall thickness is about ½ inch, with 3.75 inches of insulation. Each segment is 40 to 60 feet long and weighed about 255 pounds. The entire Trans-Alaska pipeline is 800 miles long. As mentioned earlier, it was built in just 3 years. Very efficient. It takes about 15 days for hot oil to travel from Prudhoe Bay to Valdez. Some sections are above ground and some underground. If the soil is stable like rock and sand, which would not be affected by the heat of the oil, the pipeline is buried. Otherwise, it's elevated on steel supports insulated with fiberglass to reduce heat transfer. The supports include 18-inch diameter steel pipes. The supports are H-shaped steel beams with sliding shields that allow for thermal expansion and contraction. In areas with serious permafrost melt risk, heat pipes are used. When oil warms the ground, making its temperature higher than the air temperature, the ammonia inside the pipe vaporizes and releases heat through aluminum fins at the top. The ammonia then condenses and flows back down. This process is repeated until the soil and the air temperatures are balanced. Let's end with the mesmerizing auroras. Solar wind brings charged particles to Earth. The magnetosphere reflects most, but directs some toward the poles. This protects light from radiation and also gives us the beautiful northern lights. During this process, particles in the Earth's magnetic field concentrate at the poles and collide with particles in the air to produce auroras. Like iron filings to a magnet, auroras form in rings. They occur between 40 and 600 miles high. Below that, the atmosphere is too thick for electrons to penetrate. The average aurora occurs at about 60 miles, 10 times taller than Mount McKinley, the tallest mountain in North America. Since airplanes fly at 7.58 miles high, you can see auroras from planes too. We also watched the last movie of the day about auroras. What impressed me the most was that the northern and southern lights may occur simultaneously and symmetrically. The movie is worth watching. Besides cultural displays, the second floor of the museum features art exhibits. This room had music composed from the frequencies of auroras. The Alaskan Outdoor Outhouse experience was an interactive exhibit where you sit on a foam-padded fake toilet surrounded by cultural artifacts. Oddly fun. To this day, walrus ivory carving remains an important part of Eskimo culture. I thought this beautiful piece would be perfect in my living room. This gallery is small but bright, with artworks that I could appreciate. We spent 2.5 hours at the Museum of the North. Since the university is built on a hill, we had a great panoramic view of Fairbanks, and in the distance we could see Mount McKinley. At 20,310 feet, Mount McKinley is the highest mountain in North America, though it was named Mount McKinley by the federal government in 1896 after President McKinley. Many Alaskans continue calling it Denali, its original native name meaning the Great One. President Obama made Denali its official name, but in January 2025, President Trump changed it back to Mount McKinley. No matter what it is called, it's beautiful. We went to Yes Noodles for dinner. It is highly rated. I didn't film inside. The decor was plain and a bit messy, but the food was amazing. They offer 5 types of soup: Thai noodle soup, coconut soup, spicy and sour soup, creamy spicy and sour soup, and curry soup. You can add noodles or wontons. We ordered tonka coconut noodle soup and creamy tom yum spicy and sour soup with wontons. They were sweet, sour, and spicy with a real punch. Our dessert was the best sticky mango rice I've ever had. The rice was perfectly cooked, and to my surprise, the chef not only found a mango in winter, and it was sweet. The not too sweet sauce tied it all together. I actually came back several times just for this dessert. This meal cost $66 including tip. Finally, we finished this brain twisting day. We will check in the Borealis base camp tomorrow. See you next time.